So, 75-year birthday of Junior's Cheesecake in New York City. And I'm really happy to welcome back to the show. You know, I had him on before. I was hoping he was going to run for mayor. He still may one day. Alan Rosen, owner of Junior's in New York, founded in 1950 and celebrating now 75 years. Alan, welcome back to the show. How have you been?
I've been great. Thank you. And yes, I wish I would have continued that run for mayor because you might have been talking to the mayor today
I
or the
know it's
mayor
very
elect.
possible.
Great.
Well,
Crazy how that
listen,
turned out.
yeah, let's talk about that right off the top here. What is it like for a guy like you operating a business in New York City, knowing that you're about to have a communist as your mayor?
It's very, I want to say it's unknowing. I'm hopeful that we don't have a full-on communist. That hopefully, and listen, I have to be optimistic because I'm stuck here for another 75 years, I hope. Um, Hopefully the behavior is not reflective of the campaign. Hopefully the people that he hires to work with him have the ability to run the city in a fashion that promotes small business, promotes safety, security, so people can continue to go to work and go to Broadway shows and enjoy New York City, which I still believe is the greatest city in the world, regardless of the election. Um, and hopefully, I mean, the city's going to continue no matter what, but hopefully we don't go back to the bad old days.
You lived through the bad old days when crime was out of control and the quality of life crimes were out of control, and it really did have an impact. But a lot of people who voted for him have no idea what those days were like because he got a lot of young voters. And I guess people that voted for him who just maybe didn't care what those days were like.
Yeah, no, listen, people get told certain things and people have ideas in their head and, they don't have as much experience. And I'm not going to, let's see how it turns out. But, you live and learn. And, things in life, as with our 75-year history on the same street corner in Brooklyn, things have gone up, things have gone down. But one thing that's remained constant is that we've always been there and will continue to be there.
And you have a Jersey connection, Junior's Cheesecake, a South Jersey connection, right?
We do. Yes, we do. We have our bakery where we make all our cheesecakes is located in Burlington, New Jersey.
Yeah,
So
very
that is our
cool.
South Jersey connection. So we're in and out of there with trucks going to our restaurants every single day of the week.
And your cheesecakes are made with full fat cream cheese. And now that fat is no longer considered the enemy and the devil, nor and never should have been, that's got to make you feel good too, right?
Well, listen, it's comfort food. It's homemade. It's not, it's baked. It's the same recipe my grandfather started with 75 years ago. So it's cream cheese, it's fresh eggs, it's full fat, heavy cream. Yes, it's sugar, but it's regular sugar. We blend it, we deposit it on a sponge cake bottom, and we bake it in a water bath. It's exactly the same recipe as 75 years ago. If I was making a cheesecake in my home today, that's how I'd make it. So I feel comfort in that, so that we're making it in the same fashion with which we started 75 years ago.
I mean, congratulations. That's amazing. And you never
Thank you.
you never sold out. You never changed the recipe and started adding cheaper ingredients to make more money.
No,
You kept it the same.
we're we're still using the same brands that we started. We're still doing business. Our chicken guys, the same chicken guy my dad bought chicken from. My
Hmm.
grandfather bought chicken from. I kid you not. So like, everyone says we're local. We've been local for 75 years. It's just how we grew up, so to speak. We've run our restaurants that way. We're still serving the same big 10-ounce thick hamburger. We're still serving breakfast, lunch, dinner, scrambling eggs and making French toast from thick cut challah bread and corned beef and pastrami and brisket and turkey roast every day. We make every sauce, every soup from scratch in our restaurants. Every salad dressing. We don't
It's
buy a
amazing.
salad dressing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. But you know what? What's great and rewarding, it's 75 years. We're still here. COVID obviously was a tough time. 1981, we had a fire, tough time. You know, as you said, we've been through ups and downs, whether it's crime and et cetera. But you know what? Juniors, we stayed on that corner and we turned down, I guess the easy money to sell the real estate, 10, 12 years ago. And we've stayed. And
And you
some
have a
days
look.
you feel great. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and you have a location in Times Square too, right?
We have two locations in Times Square. We have one on 45th Street between Broadway and 8th, one on 49th and Broadway. And then about a year and a half ago, we opened up in Las Vegas. So we got that too.
Oh, nice. When are you
Yeah.
going to open up? I mean, since you got the bakery in South Jersey, when are you going to open up a restaurant down here?
I don't, the truth of the matter is, I spend about 1.5 days down there a week. I don't know the market well enough. So I need some of your local expertise to tell me where to
Okay.
go.
We can help you with that. No problem. We'd be happy to.
I
Yeah,
appreciate I appreciate it.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I see juniors and I pop in there every now and then when I'm up in New York because it's fantastic. I love it. But I'm proud of you because you have not hesitated to also be outspoken about your beliefs and your views. And a lot of people were afraid to do that because there was cancel culture. Less so now. We've kind of overcome that, but you're still in New York City, but you don't hold back. You tell it
No,
like it is.
listen, people could say to me, "Oh, you're Republican, or you don't like this." The truth of the matter is, I love everybody. And listen, I have employees who've worked with me for 20, 25, 35, 45 years, started as porters, they're now general managers. I believe in the American dream. I believe that all boats rise together. Just because the owner of a business is doing well, the employees are doing well. If the economy is doing well for one person, it's usually doing well for everybody. Um, and so, I'm not afraid to say any of the things I've just said because I believe they're smart things. I believe, obviously it's great to have an environment where people are working, where people are feeling safe, where, people are able to enjoy whatever location they live in is safe and clean, and they can go from A to B and go to work and feel great about themselves. So yeah, I'm not afraid to be a little outspoken and be a little critical, respectfully of other people's opinions. Same way people can be hopefully respectful and critical of my opinions. It's fine.
That's
We
good.
can have that kind of discourse. That's what mature human beings do. They agree to disagree on certain things. It's okay.
It is okay. It's healthy, Alan. It really is. Alan Rosen's with me. He's the owner of Junior's Cheesecake, the Junior's in New York, famous, of course, and the restaurants and the bakery in South Jersey. And that's great that you come down to Burlington. You come down to South Jersey one day a week. That's awesome. We are grateful for you employing so many people too. You have a lot of people that work for you, and you've created a lot of jobs, and your family's created a lot of jobs in 75 years, and you've kept a lot of people employed. And that's also no small thing.
No, we have over 900 employees in our company. I think it's about 940 to be exact. Um, Let me just ignore this call. Someone's calling me. I apologize.
That's all right. They're probably hearing you on the radio right now.
Yeah, maybe. Um, so yeah, we have 900 employees. We try and take good care of them. We've offered, good benefits since before that was a thing that you had to do. We did it because we feel it's important. We have employees, some of the greatest stories I like to tell is, like my general manager in Brooklyn, Will. He started as a porter in my Grand Central store, and now he's a general manager, bought a house on Long Island, has, I believe, 3 children, et cetera, et cetera. Someone who I call my chief of staff started as a hostess in a restaurant on 45th Street when she emigrated here from Russia. She now is my number 2 person in the company. The gentleman who runs the bakery in South Jersey started as an assistant manager when he was right out of college, I think 25 years ago, in Grand Central Station. Then he relocated to South Jersey and now runs our baking business. So there's, we create all sorts of opportunity like that. And part of being a small businessman in this country is the ability to do that. And the truth of the matter is, without those people, you can't grow your business. So you got to take care of people.
Yeah, and I think too, it's also a situation where to keep a family business in an age where a lot of families, quite frankly, have, and I'm not saying this is a pejorative, but is sold out to larger corporations, is a
Yeah.
big deal. It really is.
Well, listen, the truth of the matter is, but it also inhibits your ability to get really big, if you know what I mean, because you don't have when it's just the family, you don't have the type of capital that it takes to become a cheesecake factory, for lack of a better term, or someone like that with 50,
Right.
60, 70 restaurants. Because, building a restaurant is very expensive and very risky. We've had restaurants that we've opened that haven't made it. And that is, hurts the family, if you know what I mean. Takes a long time to recover from
Sure.
because everyone's licking their wounds, so to speak. So it's not all, my grandfather went broke twice in his life. My father worked in that restaurant from the time he was 17 years old, literally 17, didn't
Hmm.
stop. Didn't go to college. My uncle worked there. My uncle just passed away this summer at
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
96.
that.
Oh, that's okay. Listen, everyone should live a full life of 96 and
96.
die
God bless him. Wow.
and die with a full head of hair. That was my so it's these family businesses are tough, but they can be really rewarding. I have friends who are, plumbers, and their sons are taking over their plumbing businesses, and they're electricians, and same thing. And it's really amazing. And everyone has the opportunity to sell these businesses these days. But if you love what you do, you just don't do that.
When your grandfather went bankrupt twice, what lessons can we take from that in terms of perseverance and the American dream, and also never giving up?
All of those things that you just said, never giving up. I tell my kids this all the time. You got to just keep grinding. You're going to, and by the way, if you're not failing 3.2 times in your career, you're not an entrepreneur.
Mm.
You have to fail if you're trying stuff. And I failed over 3 times. I gave a lecture to a bunch of college kids last week, and I told them, if you're going to fail, and the key is you just dust yourself off the next day, and you don't take it personally, and you got to keep going. I mean, I don't know a businessman that hasn't failed, or at least had some failures.
I
If
just
there
don't think
is,
I don't think we push that message enough. I really don't. I think we push a message of safety, and I think there's a lot of people right now who are afraid to take risks, and risks are good and risks are healthy. Failure is good and healthy because it teaches you a lot more lessons sometimes than success ever does, right?
absolutely, you learn a lot from each lesson, from each failure. You learn a lesson, and hopefully, you build that into your next one, so you don't do it again. you know that would be dumb. But yeah, I've learned a lot of lessons. And sometimes you'll pick a wrong location. Okay, not enough traffic, so you learn that you need to be near theaters. One time I built a restaurant, I just built it too big. It was just too big for where it
Mm.
was. And you learn.
Yeah.
But if you didn't take those risks, we wouldn't have 5 restaurants and 940 employees and 75 years of success. My grandfather didn't take risks, and my father didn't take risks, and my uncle didn't take risks. We'd probably be closed.
So, Alan, let me ask you, how come you never switched over to high fructose corn syrup? Now that everybody's looking
And
at real ingredients again, and Junior's cheesecake has always kept sugar, which I think is great.
I don't know the answer. The answer is I don't know. I didn't know what it was, so I didn't
Huh.
use it. The same way I cook at home. I make soup from scratch at home. I make soup from scratch in my restaurants. I mean, I buy salad dressings at home. In our restaurants, we literally make salad dressing from scratch. Um, so every night when one of our cooks goes home, we leave a cauldron on the stove with chicken backs and necks and carrots and celery and onions, and that's the base for our chicken soup for the next day. That's just how we do it. So the short answer would be the reason I've never tried it is because it's not the way my grandfather or my father or my uncle taught me.
Right.
So we
Right.
just sort of kept everything the same.
So no shortcuts. I like that. I think it's great.
There is there is no, we're still baking in a water bath, which means that each pan like gets surrounded by water, and it's cumbersome, and these rotating ovens go around. Then someone's got to sort of push the water, shake the water off each of these pans. We depan one cake at a time. We're making millions of cheesecakes. We're doing it exactly the same way. We're just doing more of it.
If the mayor-elect were to reach out to you and say, "Hey, what can I do? What advice would you give him as a guy who's been successful in New York City all these years and he's never actually had a job? So what advice would you give him?"
First, I would tell him he should try and retain the NYPD commissioner of the police department, because I believe she's doing an excellent job, and I've noticed a real difference since she came into office. So obviously, I don't believe in defunding the police, so I would tell him to stay away from that idea. I would tell him that before he just implements some of these great ideas, he might want to take a census of regular business people, not just high finance, et cetera, but everyone across the spectrum, from 5-person owned, 5 people employees, to 100 to 200 to 300, from all 5 boroughs. and have maybe a little sort of business roundtable, if you know what I mean, in private, and see what their concerns are and address that. And I would say that he should not manage the city for any one group of people. He should manage it for all the people.
I love what you said about not defunding the police, because I think that's one of the biggest fears right now people have, especially as you're in the tourist area. So people want to know the city's going to remain safe. And it's good to hear that it's getting better under the new commissioner. And people are worried that, it's going to go the other direction, which would have a big impact on business.
Since Jessica Tisch became commissioner, I'm not sure the exact date, but there's a big difference. It's being professionally run, but also you have to make sure, as he's the leader of the city, that the police officers feel supported. They feel loved, and not feel like, she runs the Civilian Complaint Review Board now, I believe, or oversees it, or some part. Don't quote me on that. He should just maintain that the police feel supported and they want to do their jobs, because it's a very important job. Same with firemen, etc.
Well, listen, congratulations. 75 years is amazing. I know you'll be doing it for another 75. And what's the future?
I won't be.
Well, maybe not you, but your sons, your kids, like who else is in the family?
So I have two sons who are both interested in the restaurant business. One is working in a different restaurant right now. He's actually at work as we speak. He does the night shift. And that's how we do it in our home. No one just comes into the family business. You got to go out there and work a little bit, see what you're made of. And then I have my youngest son is a senior at college, and we'll see when he comes out. He'll go get some experience elsewhere and see what he chooses to do. But everyone's got open options to do what they enjoy. I enjoy it very much. I'm young enough to keep doing it for another 20 years, I think, and we'll go from there.
Well, thanks for supporting South Jersey. Thanks for continuing the bakery in Burlington, the bakery operations. That's amazing. All the jobs you have down there, we appreciate it very, very much. The election didn't go our way either in New Jersey, but it's all right. We'll eat some cheesecake, get a little comfort food, and we'll deal with it.
We'll survive 4 years. Just keep plugging along, keep grinding, as I like to say.
Alan Rosen, thank you again. And next time we're up in New York, we'll pop into Juniors and say hello. Appreciate it.
Look forward to having you as my guest.